Hi, this is Mitch Mitchell of I'm Just Sharing. I'm going to tell you a story, then I'm going to have a point at the end of this story, and then I'm going to add a twist to it. So you've been warned. I'm down here in Memphis doing a consulting assignment, and Memphis is in Tennessee, and I've never been in Tennessee before. But where I am, Memphis is pretty close to the borders of both Mississippi and Arkansas, two other states I've never been to, two states I've never wanted to go to. I was born in 1959. I've got these images in my mind of certain places, and you know, they're just there. They've always been there. My mother has told me stories. My grandmother has told me stories. I've had other people who have told me stories. And then there are other people who you talk to say, it's not really that bad everywhere. As a matter of fact, things have spread so much that it's probably not much worse than where you live. We're not going to go that far with it, but I do know that some years ago I did end up in Alabama for an overnight, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it was an overnight. And I've been to Florida 3 or 4 times now, and Florida has turned out to be a lot better as far as people go. The weather still stinks. To me, it's just way too hot, too humid, but still. So I got convinced by someone I know to go to a place called Tunica, Mississippi, because they have casinos there. I thought they had casinos here in Tennessee. It turns out they don't, but they're right over the border, pretty close. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go check one of these things out. So Saturday morning, I hopped in the car, filled it up with gas, and went on my trek to find a place called Harris Casino in Tunica, Mississippi. And it really was just over the border. It really didn't take that long, maybe 40, 45 minutes. And I got there, and it didn't necessarily look like your typical casino that you're used to. It looked like just a really, really big hotel. Had multiple colored sections on the outside. I took pictures of them all, which I'll upload at some point to my Instagram account. And it may show up on my Facebook account, but, may even show up in a blog post someday. But anyhow, here's the thing. I get there, and I had looked it up online first before I went. I like to play poker, and I wanted to know what would be going on. And I saw that they had a poker tournament that started at 1 o'clock. And I realized, geez, you know what? If I join a poker tournament that starts at 1 o'clock, I could be there for a long time if I'm playing well. I really don't want to drive from Mississippi back to Tennessee at night. Still got some preconceived notions. Sorry to say that, but it happens. So I said, I'm not going to play that. I'm going to play some regular poker. So I am there 10:45, 10:40, something like that. I walked around, took some pictures first, and I go inside to get a poker table, go to a poker table. And it turns out that they were having a tournament that started at 11. It was a big dollar tournament, $160 entry plus another $20 for whatever. I don't really know. Maybe that's the fee. So it was more than what it had said online. Online, it did mention they had a special tournament. Thought about it. It was real close to signing up with it. As a matter of fact, the first thing I said is, geez, do you take credit card? Because I had money on me, but I didn't necessarily take that much because it hadn't been my intention to play with that much money for poker. And he said, no, we had to take cash. I said, geez. So then I ran over to ATM, get more money. Then I'm standing there in line. And then they said, well, you have to have a poker card. I said, what? So now I had to go back out of line to get a poker card. So I come back, and she said, you got your card, you got your money, you ready to go? I said, let me think about this. So I thought about it. I said, you know what? No, something's telling me that I shouldn't get into this tournament. So I'm not going to get in the tournament. I was listening to my intuition, because intuition will tell you things every once in a while. But what I then said is, but you know what? I'd rather go on the list so that when a table opens up, I can get on that table and I can play a regular table. Sounds like a good idea. Most places I go to were running tournaments and, regular tables at the same time. Well, this was not a big poker room. As a matter of fact, they had so many people there, they actually had to open up some other tables outside of their poker area. So there was that. Then there was this thing where they allowed other people to sign up so that when someone got bounced, they would announce their names and then they came in as alternates. I've never heard of a tournament like that before, but that's what they did. So they let other people come in. They were in order. And if they got in time, they didn't lose any money. But some would lose a little bit here and there, and then when it got to what they call antes, they just automatically were taking money. So some people got into that tournament down money than what everyone else had, which is very interesting. I don't know that I'd want to do a tournament like that. Anyhow, because they kept doing that, they didn't open up any tables. So because I hadn't been told this, I sat there waiting, thinking, well, this is gonna come true, this is gonna happen. So I since I had a poker tournament, I put $10 in a machine, ended up $2.50 ahead, pulled my card out, said, okay, great, now I'm ahead. You know what? I feel good if nothing else happens. More than 2 hours later, I'm still there. They all go on break. I'm like, what the devil? So I go up to the man and say, hey, I've been waiting over 2 hours. You guys don't have a table yet. You got all these different people coming in. And he said, oh, I'm sorry. They should have told you that this was how this was probably going to go because this is a bigger tournament. So what he did is he gave me a comp to a free meal at the buffet restaurant. It's a Paula Deen restaurant of all things, buffet, and I'd never been to one. So I was like, okay, fine, let's go. So I go off, I eat a meal, it's okay, it's buffet food. And I come back down, and now I'm downstairs, and I had to wait another 30 minutes before finally some table started to open up, and I was going to get a chance to play poker. Now, here's the thing. My mind kept telling me, you know what, maybe this isn't a good idea. You're getting a little bit agitated. It may take away from your thinking at the table. You could lose your money really quick. And knowing you, if you start to lose your money really quick, you're going to go get more money. Now, I don't gamble with money that I can't afford to lose, but at the same time, no one wants to lose. You always want to win. So I should have left. I thought about it. Should have just left. It turns out not all the poker places in Tunica, I guess there's like 8 of them or whatever, not all of them have poker. So I didn't want to be bouncing around this town trying to find another casino that might have poker, show up place, they don't have it, and I got to go out again. So I just stayed there. But I knew I wasn't in the proper mental state to be playing to actually, do anything positive. Anyway, I finally got a table. They apologized. I got my money, sat down at the table, started to play. And lost almost all my money very early, just like I thought. So I went and got more money because I said, geez, I didn't stay here all this time. I didn't drive this far just to leave this early. Went and got more money. So I'm playing poker, actually won all my money back and was ahead. At the time, I had said I was going to leave initially. But because I really hadn't gotten to play that long, I stayed. Wasn't listening to my intuition. Said, you know what? I'm here. I'm actually having a good time. I'm sitting next to a guy who's interesting to talk to. I don't get a lot of that down here. I'm down here to work. And, I know a couple people. I know one person who lives in town. I know someone who's consulting here who comes in every once in a while. And I know him from other things. So I don't really have anyone just to sit down and talk to. This is, as a matter of fact, truthfully, this is the reason I play poker, because it gives me an opportunity to talk to someone. So I was kind of enjoying that. And so I, had won all my money back, doing well. This guy busts, and he's totally gone. So now the table is totally changed. And yes, I did lose all my money. So karma and intuition kind of came together. Said, you knew that you were not in the proper mind frame to play this game today. You knew it. You were agitated. You weren't feeling comfortable. You'd had to wait a good long time. The poker room at home is non-smoking. And here you smoke. I mean, they didn't have it, boarded off or anything. So it was just cigarette smoke everywhere. I wasn't comfortable with that. And I should have left. I really should have left. I was using the logic to justify one thing, but intuition, karma, whichever word you want to use, was telling me, you know what? You should leave. You should go home with your money. You should be ahead. You should be a happy guy. And yet, I did have a good time. Yes, it's never totally fun when you lose all your money, but I had a good time. I got to talk to some people. I got to be out. I've been down here a long time. So, here's the lessons. One, when your intuition is talking to you and it's strong, you should think about listening to that. I do believe in this thing in karma. I do believe that there are people who do some bad things and that bad things are going to happen back to them. I do believe that people do good things and good things happen to them. I also believe that this thing called karma, sometimes we call it spidey senses, but we call it karma, intuition, does say, geez, if you're uncomfortable, if you're feeling uncomfortable, you should get out of that situation. You should, if you're kind of feeling a little weird in a dangerous place, Or, late at night in your car and think, boy, I don't feel comfortable with this. I don't feel comfortable wearing such as whatever. Change that stuff. Get yourself into something else so you have a positive mindset so you can feel better. Things usually work out better. It's not 100%. Sometimes people have a bad feeling about something and it turns out it was for nothing. But truth of the matter is, more often than not, if your intuition is telling you something is bad, it is. However, the other side of that is I had a good time. I had an adventure. I got a story to tell. I took some pictures. I got to eat for free at a Paula Deen, who's going through a lot of stuff right now. But that's on her. But I got a free meal. So here it was. I now can count Mississippi as another state I've been in my life. So it's really shrinking. I've been in a lot of states now. It wasn't so bad. Of course, it was just over the border, so it's not like I went into anything really deep. And the rental car I have has Alabama plates, so if I'd had New York plates, we'd have definitely had to think about that a few more times. But it wasn't so bad. I had an adventure, had fun, got to get back. Everything went well except for losing some money. Yeah. So I think you have to gauge your intuition and karma with how comfortable you are and what the danger is. To me, the only danger was that I wasn't going to play poker well and I was going to lose money. That in retrospect wasn't as dangerous as, geez, I feel like I might be getting killed or someone might be watching me and they may be looking to rob me. Different intuitions. So there's, pretty much my thoughts on it. Intuition usually turns out to be right. Karma is almost always right. And yet the ramifications of ignoring it will be totally different based on whatever the situation is. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you think you know someone who liked this little story or someone you think could learn a couple of lessons, send this to them. Share it. I love people who share my stuff. I love people who watch my stuff. Let me know what you thought. So this was Mitch Mitchell of I'm Just Sharing. That's all I got. Y'all take care.